Good morning. This is TCR, TroyCommunityRadio.com. I'm Clint Myers for David Denoyer on Troy Community Television on Demand, and I'm joined with Mayor Michael Beamish. It's time for the Mayor's Report.
Well, good morning, Clint. Good morning, David. It's good to see you back with us. So now we've got the audio and we got the video, so we're ready to go.
It's all on tape.
It's all on tape, Memorex or something.
Something like that.
But it's good to see us all together again.
Hey, we're getting close here to the end of summer. Still quite a few events coming our way here in downtown Troy, and had a wonderful event last weekend.
Boy, we have, and you're right. We'll talk about that later, some of the upcoming events. But, you know, summer is heading down the home stretch. But we always close with what I consider one of those wonderful concerts with the Air Force Band of Flight. Now, a lot of people expect the Air Force Band of Flight as of old, where they had a large group. Well, they've now split up into smaller groups, and we had the Systems Go group, just as dynamic, just as entertaining, still had the vocals, the high energy, and they come to Troy because they like coming to Troy. And they were on Prouty Plaza this past week, put on a dynamic show. We hope to get them back towards the end of every summer. They've been with us 10 years.
Wow.
It would have been their 11th year, Clint, had they not been deployed to go overseas. And they also, as a service to their country, they entertain troops overseas. So they did. It would have been their 11th, but they had to cancel one of those years. So we had them for 10 years, and we hope to have them for many more years as well. But we were lucky this year. We had 2 Army bands, and we had an Air Force military band. So it was a wonderful concert and a wonderful summer.
Well, kids are back in school. Buses are out running on the roadways. So certainly something to keep your eyes peeled for in the morning.
Well, as a educator by trade, and you and I have talked about this. We motorists have to be very cognizant of the youngsters heading to and from school each and every day now. They are back in session, and a lot of them walkers, and sometimes they're playing with their friends on the way to school. We have to be really careful to make sure they get to and from school safely.
Absolutely. They're out on bikes. I see them every morning, walking, toting their backpacks on their way. So
yeah, and it's nice to see families walking together. I see many moms and even dads walking the kids to school. That's kind of a neat thing too. So it's
absolutely good. Council, this is going to be a little bit different because we've got the holiday coming up, and so you won't actually have council till September 8th.
Seems like it's been a lifetime. It's been a while. But September 8th, you're right, at Council Chambers, 7 o'clock. That's a normal time. The thing is, it's Tuesday because of Labor Day on the September 7th. So we move it back a day. So if you want to mark your calendars for that Tuesday. We did, though, we continue to meet and talk about some of the legislation that is pending. And we did have a meeting of the whole this past Monday on August the 24th. And I want to kind of preface that by saying, no, even though the committee of the whole, which means all council was present, all 9 members, and they discussed issues, the formal votes will take place at the regular council meetings. So what I'm sharing with you is kind of a precursor to what the agenda might look like for the September 8th meeting.
Okay.
But we did have probably one of the biggest discussion items is we have had a study going on for a while now about the Hobart Arena. It's part of the Riverfront Development Project to enhance the opportunities to bring young people, millennials, into our community. Hopefully they'll stay and take some of the jobs. Workforce is one of our biggest concerns right now, having a number of people available for the jobs that we have to offer. But Hobart Arena, we all know it's historic. We all know it has provided a lot of entertainment, whether it's ice events or for concert events and other events as well. We've had expos there. Well, one of the things that continues to surface is we need to enhance the historic Hobart Arena to make it more viable for those concerts, for those other events, and even beyond with ice events as well.
So now a lot of that is also just bringing it up to date with the technology.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Clint. And when you have a building like that, even though we think it as a treasure, and I certainly know it's a treasure, and we have great directors in Ken Seiler and Carrie Slater. They've done a marvelous job promoting the arena. You still have issues, restrooms. You have issues, concessions. You have issues, locker rooms for events, staging. All those things we have to bring up to speed if we are going to be competitive with all the other area concerts and arenas that are around us. So they presented that. Ken Seiler did a marvelous job to the full council. Council asked some clarifying questions. It is over a $7 million project with the, and even then they had to cut down and prioritize some of the majors. The majors, obviously, that they're looking at is concession areas, restroom areas, walkway areas, backstage areas, which includes that locker room, multi-purpose staging areas, delivery service area. In-store equipment like the Zamboni machine.
Right.
That everybody knows it sits in the middle of a walkway. Well, we want to try to get that out of the way. And so it's a little over a $7 million project, but I think Ken Seiler, Carrie Slater have demonstrated that if we can enhance that, they can make things happen in that arena, and we're looking forward to that. Council did ask questions, but in the end, they asked for a kind of a how do you feel vote, and it was a 9-0 that they want to move forward with that. So you'll see that on the September 8th agenda. There were some other things. We've been working on the Adams Street project, and you've seen some enhancements on Adams Street beyond the bridge. One of the things that people don't realize is the Miami Conservancy District is in control of that levee area. And so anything we do has to get their approval. And sometimes when you do that, they want to see things differently, especially at the recreational trail, the bike path area. They wanted to elevate it a little bit. And they're allowed to do that, but the price tag goes up when you have to do more fill and things. And so one of the things that another committee had to deal with, the Streets and Sidewalk Committee, was increasing allocation to cover those costs, but it's still for the good of everybody on the recreational trail system. It's just that people need to realize we work with partners along the way, Miami Conservancy District being one. We had a couple of other committee meetings. The building committee was looking at the facade improvements in downtown at I call it the 121 building area, to do some outside facade improvements there. There was an annexation request that needed approval. It has passed through the county, and that's out there in Concord Township, down by Peters Road, and the committees met. Now there wasn't a committee of the whole. The other committees meet in subcommittees of 3. And so, but they unanimously supported both the facade as well as the annexation, and also the extra cost for the Miami Conservancy District portion of the bike trail to improve. So all those issues you'll see on the agenda coming up September 8th for official votes. And the only emergency legislation that we see on the docket would be the one that my Conservancy District asked for some improvements to the well, we're doing the Adams Street project, and so that we can pay the people on time. So we were doing that. Other than that, it was a very informative meeting, as all council subcommittees are. It's rare to have a committee of the whole meeting, but we thought it was important. President Baker asked for that, and it was good that everybody was there to listen to the presentation. And obviously they're supporting that to move forward for the council agenda. That's pretty much it.
Anytime I hear the discussion on a Hobart Arena, I only need to look at some of the other communities that have put these new music venues in, and knowing what it can grow into.
Well,
so it's certainly, it's going to be a plus.
Oh, it's historic. That gives us some notoriety and legacy.
Yes.
But it also, we're in competition with, like you
Those
say,
other
all the venues around us that are trying to bring in big-time entertainment. We've been very fortunate, and I think that's through our efforts of our promoters and Ken and Kerry.
Absolutely.
But we have to stay up on the game. And again, the whole idea of doing anything with the riverfront development is to try to gravitate people into our community. May not stay, but they certainly support our restaurants, they support our hotels, they support our small business retail. It has a trickle-out effect. But we're hoping that those people see so much in our small Midwestern town with big town taste that they're willing to stay on, bring their families, live, raise, play, and work.
Certainly.
In our community.
Well, like we pointed out last week in the show, you look at Mumford and Sons and what they had to say about Troy, Ohio, from their weekend that they spent here. Just a weekend. This is their favorite city out of their U.S. tour.
And they're a pretty famous group. So when they say that, and they're outsiders looking in, they see the value of what we're trying to accomplish here in Troy, Ohio, USA.
Absolutely.
And I'm just so privileged to have the opportunity to be a part of what I think makes Troy great, and that is partnerships, including Troy Community Radio, and promoting.
It's all part of looking to the future.
Absolutely.
All right, and thinking of looking to the future, we've got some events coming up in September. Quite a few concerts yet down on Prouty Plaza by our own Troy Civic Band.
Thank you for bringing that up. We do have a group of professionals that meet, and they're local, and yet they're very talented. And they have a couple concerts coming up in September. One is Labor Day, September 7th at 7 o'clock on Prouty Plaza. They will be presenting a concert, so bring your chairs down and enjoy that concert. Then they're coming back on September, I believe, the 13th, for another concert. So we have our Troy Civic Band active. Football season's in full swing now.
Yeah.
So we're kind of leaning towards the fall now. We have the Taste of Troy coming up September 19th. So mark your calendars there. I believe that will start around noon and go until the afternoon. And that's a wonderful event. We've got some different new ideas being planned for that. We'll talk a little more about it. But September is a season of change for us as we move from summer into autumn. But it also, in Troy and downtown, it's an active season.
Well, we say an active season now as summer comes to a close, but then we're going to head right into another season that's full of festivities again in downtown Troy as we come into fall towards winter.
Absolutely, and you and I have a love of trains, and every week you and I have to mention the Lincoln Funeral Train is coming to Troy.
September 10th through the 13th.
10th through the 13th. The Sculptures on the Square Committee, thanks to a grant from the Troy Foundation, is working very hard to make that a very good culminating event that ties directly into our monumental of Abraham Lincoln and friend here in Troy, Ohio, and this will be a great culminating event. Children will be free to move through and see the funeral car and train.
Yeah, the schools will be bringing the kids over.
Yes, my wife's in charge, along with Deanna Riley, of trying to schedule all the schools that want to come and see this historic event. And so they're working very hard, but it's going to be open time for public as well. And now we do ask that the adults pay a $5 charge. It goes into Main Street's fund, so they can then continue funding other projects and events throughout the year. But $5, Lincoln 5, fits the whole theme of what this summer's all about. So that's coming to September 10th through the 13th, and I hope everybody gets excited, telling their friends, neighbors, people even outside Miami County will want to come.
Well, I was going to see if the Hainer would let me put up a tent and camp in the yard, because I'll just stay down by the train for the whole time it's here.
Well, Clint, I know you love trains as I do, and there are going to be some tents up, but everything's going to be based around the Civil War era.
Right.
So, so you understand there may be displays, there may be reenactments, but it will all be based around the Civil War.
Excellent. All right, we look forward to it, Mayor. Anything else you'd like to add in this morning?
Wow, I think we've covered a lot of bases, Clint, David. It's good to see you back with us, and we hope everybody tunes in. And I want to thank you again, because the promotion to our community just enhances what Troy's all about, and that is working together and looking at the good that we have to offer in Troy in so many different ways.
Certainly, there is a lot to be highlighted.
Thank you.
All right. This has been the Mayor's Report with Mayor Michael Beamish. For David Denoyer and Troy Community Television on Demand, I'm Clint Myers on TCR, TroyCommunityRadio.com, 107.1 WTJN.